Steph here. Welcome to Stable Studios. It's freezing in here this morning. Sorry, my fingers aren't even working yet. That's my excuse for some fluff notes. Thanks for coming back to the studio. Talking about a completely made up title for the video today. Obviously, Dorian and Tonic or whatever is completely made up. Just having a bit of fun really. But what I'm trying to do is explain a little bit of what I'm doing. I'm adding some notes to the minor pentatonic to give it some colour, and they come from other places. So I didn't know what to name it, so I named it that. You know, call it Dave if you like. You know, whatever it is, doesn't matter what it's called. It's about the sound. It's about learning it by ear. So anyway, before we get going, firstly, what I was doing at the beginning on this beautiful new guitar that I've got off my mate Aaron Rosario. Shout out to Aaron, who I'm getting into a band situation with shortly, which I'm really looking forward to. Got this 50s standard P90, which is really, really nice. We did a bit of a swap for some guitars that I weren't using, and yeah, it's great. I was doing a 12 bar in A, so we're in A, so I was playing A7, and then throwing in a G chord, the flat 7 chord there, a bit of a passing chord really between that and the D. So then onto the 4 chord, which is a D. I'm playing a D9. You can play D7 if you want. But anyway, I was playing D9. G, back to G again as a passing chord. A7. E9. You can do E7. Whatever. E9, a little E flat 9 is passing to the D9. G, back to A. So there's a 12 bar in A, but I'll just add an extra few passing chords in there. So that's all I was doing. And basically, this is something I learned to do, I think, God, probably as a kid, just trying to find out, you know, I liked pentatonics like I think everybody does when they first start out playing, but getting stuck in a box and wanting to do more, I started to add extra notes to try and find what I liked, and I was playing, you know, learning other people's solos at the time and finding that they were adding some notes in the pentatonic that I wasn't using, so I tried that. So what it is A minor pentatonic, position 1. If you don't know that, then you should. But yeah, learn that first if you don't know. Position 1 minor pentatonic, and all I'm doing is adding some extra notes in, and the first couple are from the Dorian mode, right? So at the top end of the scale here, on the, try and get my other fingers out of the way so you can see, on the E string here and the B string, I'm adding the notes that are on the 7th fret on those 2 strings. So normally it would be 8, 5, 8, 5 if you're talking in fret numbers. I'm adding in 8, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5. So that it just gives you a little bit of colour here. You've got a major second, the 8, and a 6th. And these come from the Dorian mode. This is maybe I'll do a video on separate on the Dorian mode in the future, but I don't use tons of it. I just add in a little bit of colour from it into the minor pentatonic, which is what I do with a lot of stuff really. So, and then if you add the flat 5 from the blues scale, which is here, you get this really simple and easy shape. Right? Really, really popular. You've probably seen it. So like I say, some people call this hybrid pentatonic. I think I've heard people call it that. I don't know what you call it, so we're going to call it Dave. It's decided. That's what it's going to be called. It's a good name. It's a good name. So, used by loads of people. Even like Eddie Van Halen would use this. There's been a few wedding gigs I've managed to fudge my way through some Eddie Van Halen solos, including kind of Jump. You know, and he would have, on the Jump solo, he's using that exact shape. He's tapping, of course. Tapping isn't really my bag, but when it's a wedding and you're getting free cake, you know, I'm willing to tap. So But he'll do that kind of thing in the jump solo. Does that so kind of thing. So very popular shape, even in the rock world. So it's great to just be able to have that same thing on every string, isn't it? Now, if we had these notes in a lower octave, right, we also get on the third string this note, and then this note, because it's these same two notes that we just added in from the Dorian mode, lower down, an octave lower. And again, nice position to be in. So a lower octave version of those two notes, and then of course the flat 5 we can add in there as well. Right, so and you've got loads of extra colour you can add in. Now, not all these notes are going to sound great all of the time. Some of them you're going to have to pass through them fairly quickly rather than hanging around on them. But if you've played a blues scale before and you've played a flat 5, you probably know that you don't want to hang around on that note. You can use it. But if you're hanging around on it, it's not always going to sound sweet. So some of these kind of note choices will be like that. Now, I also mentioned Mixolydian in the title, and that's because the F sharp here, the 6th to the A, right, is also in the Mixolydian, from the Mixolydian mode, right? And it is the major third to our 4 chord, to the D9. So it's a nice choice for, you know, when it gets to the 4 chord to add that in. So that comes from that mode as well, but also from the Mixolydian mode. Lost my train of thought there. Also from the Mixolydian mode, which you would get. You'd also get the major third to the A. You would get this C sharp. So if we add in the major third as well, we would get, wait for it, on the third string. Yep, chromatic. For anybody that doesn't know what chromatic means, it's basically movements in semitones. So from one semitone to the next, or one fret to the next. That's chromatic. If I'm teaching how to suck eggs, I apologise, but I like to try and cover all bases. So yeah, chromatic is a movement of one fret at a time, or a semitone movement at a time. One of my students a little while back, a young lad, said, can you show me some licks that are chromated? And I was like, I think you mean chromatic. We laughed. It was good fun. Anyway, so on the third string, because you've got the flat 5 from the blues scale, then your regular notes from the pentatonic here, and the major third, and the major second from Dorian, you get this. And you're now sitting there thinking that's not going to work, but it does. But again, you can't hang around on it, but it does work. You know. As this, the flat 5 is probably the worst, but. You know, just sparingly some of the notes. So you've got that. Then on this string, we can also add in the major 7 from the major scale, which goes nicely over the 5 chord if you want, but you don't have to. And then the blues scale, or even the major third there as well. Way too many notes to think about, isn't it? But it does mean that you've got loads of extra colour you can throw in depending on the kind of sound you want. messing about now, but yeah, it can just add a whole new ton of colour to your minor pentatonic scale by adding all these notes in from, you know, Mixolydian, Dorian, major scale. But, you know, one piece of advice my guitar teacher told me, Mr. Ross Griggs, another name drop from Mr. Ross Griggs, you're only ever a fret away from a correct note in any scale, anywhere really. So you're only ever one fret away from a correct note. Some people would say, yeah, but you're also only one fret away from a wrong note then, right? But I'm always a half, you know, glass half full kind of guy. So you're always one fret away from a correct note. So if something sounds bad, bend it a semitone, and generally it's going to work better. So just remember that piece of information. So have a bit of fun with your pentatonics. Add some extra notes in there, some colour, and just see what you like. Okay, there's no rules. There's absolutely no rules when it comes to improvising and, you know, playing kind of solos and lead guitar. And I think if you work by a set of rules all the time, that's when you kind of confine yourself to these boxes and to, you know, whether it's a mental kind of box or whether it's a finger kind of box, doesn't matter. So I think you've got to really try and get out of that and just use what your ears tell you are good. Don't worry about theory, you know, don't worry about what it's called, the name of it. Like I say, we've called it Dave, it's great. Just use your ears. Do you like the sound of that note against the root or against whatever chord change you're playing? You might do, somebody else might not, whatever. You know, if you like it, then that's fine. Obviously there's common practice amongst a lot of guitar players depending on note choices, but experiment and see how you get on. As always, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd encourage you to hit the subscribe button if you could. That'd help, you know, help me out loads, and hit the like button. And yeah, if you want to leave me a tip, there's a PayPal link in the description as well, and I'll catch you on the next one. Have a great week. Catch you next time. See ya.